So we are all looking for efficiency. I don't know if I even know what efficiency looks like if I see it, although I think it's got to do something with saving time and doing something right the first time. But whatever efficiency is, it's definitely something that we are all after, because it does result in a lot of things, such as, maybe more time for things that you really want to do, maybe time to spend on things that really matters. Maybe it helps you get to things that, you always wanted to do and wanted to implement in your business. Whatever efficiency means for you, there's quite a few ways in which one can actually attain efficiency. And it is something that in business, we are always striving to achieve. And there's always that next level and that next level. Well, today we look at two of the ways. I'm not going to get into all of them, but two of the ways. One outsourcing, one technology, and excited to talk to my guests this morning.
This is Propulsion, the podcast for forward-thinking and driven and ambitious financial planning professionals. It is the catalyst to the exponential growth of your financial planning practice, your business, or your franchise. This is where professionals come in order to learn about the latest technology, to learn about best practice when it comes to running and managing their business, as well as marketing, sales, relationship building, the best and most valuable interviews with local and international guests, and a whole host of other things. Without any further ado, here is your host, Francois du Toit.
Good morning, Elmarie.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So, obviously, we talk about efficiency today, and a big part of being efficient is, outsourcing. It's one of the things. It's not the thing. I think it's one of the things, and one needs to sort of figure out whether it's going to work for you or not. But I want to talk specifically around investments this morning with you, because there's a lot of processes around investments, etc. And when it comes to investments, like you have the fortunate position to work with a lot of financial services providers. Where are you seeing that FSPs and advisors are maybe finding it difficult to be efficient when it comes to investments?
Yeah, thank you, Francois, for having me. I think, being a financial advisor, and you don't only have one role. You need to look after the client's full situation. Having life cover, medical aid, investment is only one of the sectors that you actually look after. So with all the hundreds of, investment funds available out there, it's becoming such a difficult task to keep up with, regulation. Are you doing your due diligence within all of these funds? How do you do it? Where do you find the time in a day to actually sit down, look at all of the hundreds of funds available and decide this is the portfolio I'm going to construct for client A, B, C, D, and then, having to manage these funds constantly. It's a massive task and responsibility, and it can, put your practice under risk if you don't have mechanisms to be able to keep up with all of these required, regulation.
Yeah, and I think, if you start thinking about like what can be some reasons that's driving all of this, because it feels like, I don't know if you find this, but if you talk to advisors, it feels like there's just more responsibility, more accountability. As you said, the regulation, compliance, like all this stuff. And there's just more and more and more things that we need to do. We need to report every single month. We need to do like all these amazing things, which obviously now talk about efficiency detracts us from the thing that we actually should be doing, and that is helping and talking to clients. Are there other reasons that you can maybe think of that's, why they're finding it so difficult?
I think, Francois, as you mentioned, it's mainly a time constraint. If you look at what the compliance requirements are, you need to have a risk management plan that's a whole book. You need to have so many documents, processes in place. To keep up with all of that, I think it's mainly a time constraint. And it's difficult, you want to service your clients to the best of your ability, but it's really, a difficult task at this point.
And I agree with you fully. It's definitely, all of these things are just, I don't have the time to get to stuff. And, I think you mentioned earlier about the there's so many funds, there's new products all the time. Fund managers change, the actual like portfolio manager at the asset manager, they change, they move around. And just to keep on top of all of these things and ensuring that you're not the one just using the flavor of the month or sort of hearing something and seeing something doing well, that's what we go after, thinking about things like house views and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, let me not get into that. But it is really, really important that all of these things are considered. If we don't have time, it now becomes a huge stress. Like what do we not know? What are we missing out on? Now, I know that one of the ways, as I mentioned earlier, to create efficiency is through outsourcing. And if we talk about outsourcing, it means either your entire process or some of the process, or your entire business or some of the business areas. Maybe you don't have people that can do that, or maybe you don't have the expertise, or maybe you don't want to do that. Then outsourcing is a great way to sort of get help from those people who do love doing those things and who do have the resources and expertise to be able to do that. But why is a DFM solution, so discretionary fund management, why is that a good option if I want to consider outsourcing part of my investment process out of my FSP?
So the purpose of a DFM is to actively and efficiently manage clients' money. A DFM is an expert in the field of investment management. The amount of what shall I call it? Sorry for that.
No worries.
Yeah, like I say, this is what they do every day. So they do research. They have daily, weekly, monthly meetings with asset managers to see what is actually happening inside a particular fund. The DFM has got access to the fund manager. A normal IFA will find it difficult to actually sit down with the asset manager and ask him, okay, Mr. Francois, what are you doing within your fund? What changes have you made within your asset allocation recently? The war. Did you do anything specifically? The DFM can actually go to the asset manager and ask these questions. They do a proper quantitative, qualitative analysis before they actually include a fund into a portfolio. And yeah, this is what they do daily. So I don't know why you wouldn't include a DFM in your practice. For the reasons mentioned.
Yeah, and if I want to, because it is also about good fit, right? So is it something I should do, want to do, must do? So what are some key questions do you think that an FSP or anybody out there sort of thinking about this, what are some of the key questions that they can ask themselves to determine whether they should be considering this and why it might be a good fit?
I think firstly, how many clients' portfolios are you currently managing on a bespoke basis? Do you have the expertise? Are you keeping up with all the changes within the funds that you are using? How do you do the due diligence? If there is a client complaint, how will you actually prove that you've been actively managing these portfolios on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? The reviews. On your review, are you confident that you're still within your client's risk profile? And are you confident that, Fund A, B, or C didn't make major changes that you were unaware of? So also, how quickly can you actually rebalance everybody's portfolios? I remember the start of COVID, people wanted to move to cash quickly. And it was a question of, does your client have, electronic means? We couldn't go out and visit a client, so everything had to be done, electronically. So what is the risk in your practice if you should need to urgently do rebalancings and switchings? Can you do it automatically like a DFM can? A DFM can do, automated switches with the required signed client mandate. Is your practice, do you have the ability to actually do that? If you're looking at funds cost, are you getting the best fund class fee in your portfolios that you have constructed yourself? A DFM gets institutional pricing due to scale. So 9 out of 10 times, if you look at your own constructed portfolio compared to a DFM solution, you would actually be saving your client money by handing it over to a team of experts. And then, I think to really sit back and look at your practice and decide if, why would you not consider using a DFM? Do you feel that you've got all the required expertise in your own team to actually give the best back to your client?
Yeah. And those are very compelling reasons and things to consider to see. So, Elmarie, you work with Independent Investment Solutions. You're the head of business development there, or I-Squared Solutions for those lazy ones of us out there who don't want to say all the words. It's I-Squared Solutions. And when you're, as I say, you provide these DFM services. What do you offer FSPs and advisors?
So, firstly, our investment committee is totally independent. I think when you do consider using a DFM, you should be absolutely certain what is inside your DFM. Who are the people behind it? Are they any own funds being used, or is it clear cut, completely transparent? Do you know what you're getting into? So that's very important when you do consider a DFM. So we are totally independent. We offer risk profile portfolios locally as well as globally across multiple list platforms. By using active and passive elements, we can keep costing quite low, like I mentioned. Also the optimization of fund fee classes. We do additional value adds because we want our IFAs that partner with us. We want them to actually get a real value benefit from our DFM. So not only do we actively manage these portfolios that we have been doing for the past, it would now be in June, 6 years. So we've got a decent track record, you know exactly what's going on. We've got a team of experts, like I mentioned, 90 plus year, experience in this field. So on top of that, we also offer you practice management type of tools. So we give you an advisor portal that includes things like automated assets under management reporting, compliance-related reports and tools. We've got a proposal builder. We've got deal-branded weekly newsletters that you can automatically send out to your clients. So constant contact with your client, even though, you're not actually doing the work. We do that on your behalf. We give you a monthly advisor pack with all the updated fund fact sheets, economic overviews, constant, if we do make changes within the portfolios, we communicate the reasoning behind it. And we just normally try to keep you up to date with what's happening in, market and economic environment. And provide you with tools in order to service your client better and also give your client the best value for money.
Geez, that is a mouthful. So definitely, I mean, if you can get rid
more,
of all of
but we don't have enough time for all of it.
But wait, there's more. Elmarie, it's amazing. I mean, just imagine all these things that I don't have to do is out of my practice, and fantastic. Yeah. What can I do with that time? Because at the moment, a lot of advisors or FSPs need to do this themselves. And a lot of it is sort of something that is repetitive in one way. It's things that, can, and again, getting experts involved can really, really help with that. Just very quickly, which platforms are your funds available on?
Okay, so basically we're available on most of the platforms. I'm just going to quickly name a couple: AIMS, Allan Gray, Credo, International, CIG, Discovery Invest, Momentum Wealth, 91, Old Mutual Wealth, PPS, Sanlam Glacier, Stanlip, iRetire, and the list is growing. So we offer standardized solutions across all of these platforms, which makes it easy for you to actually implement your client's investment plan across multiple platforms. So if you select a I-Squared moderate on Sanlam Glacier and you select it on Momentum Wealth, the package inside is exactly the same. So that's where awesome. We are available.
Great stuff. Elmarie, where can people learn more and get hold of you?
Okay, so just to mention quickly, if anybody wants to go onto a quote system and, search for us, you won't be able to see our solutions in a quote package unless you've actually partnered with us and we've opened up the solutions for you. So if you want to have a look at these, you can contact me on my cell phone number, 082-454-7048, or you can email me, elmarie@i2solutions.co.za.
Awesome. I've got the website address on there, and also you can also connect with on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So yes, absolutely everywhere. So Elmarie, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Wishing you well. Have a good weekend, and thanks for being
Thank
a part
you.
of the Global Financial Planning Conference.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity, and hopefully we'll chat soon. Have a good weekend
Absolutely.
yourself. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Alrighty. So next up, we have Johan Bester. So Johan Bester is from AdviceTech, and Johan will join me here on screen momentarily. There we go. Good morning, Johan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Francois. Thank you for having me.
It's a big, big pleasure. Righty, so now we get into the other topic, which is quite exciting for me because we want to talk about technology. Now, obviously, technology is a huge driver for efficiency, but I've got a high-level, higher-grade question for you, something that I've been thinking about the last while, and something that I think is mind-blowing. If you really sit down and think about it, this is mind-blowing. Because in today's day and age, we have all the tech you can think about. We have the most amazing things. We have integration. We have all these things that are just freaking amazing. Every time you see something, it's like, wow, that is just amazing. So this tech, there's a lot of tech that exists today. But what I don't get is that, why do we still have people searching and they keep on looking for new solutions? Even when they've implemented something, they go like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to implement this. Then they implement it, and then a year later, they start looking for something new. What is your take on that?
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, a phenomenon in today's society, not just in this industry. And I think to some extent it comes down to the pursuit of perfection. So we've got constantly changing requirements, regulatory compliance, customer expectations, how you do service delivery, and all of that sort of thing. And a tool looks absolutely amazing, a system looks amazing, and then reality sets in. And there's always a couple of things. Okay, here you can do a little, something a little bit different. Here you can do something a little bit better. And everything can always be better, whether it's a little bit faster, whether it's a little bit easier, or just a new perspective in a method of doing something. And I think all of the changes in requirements, as well as, of course, just finding something new, is a constant drive in the processes we do, but also in the systems we use. So I don't think we're ever going to get to a place where where we stop getting new systems, because there's always just something new. But hopefully, there's obviously a massive overhead in terms of implementing systems. So hopefully getting a solution that is fairly time-proof it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually a million questions running through my mind, but I won't throw them at you. We don't have enough time. I think, what's the latest and the greatest and sort of the most prettiest system, and what do I have that nobody else has got, because we believe that what gives us the edge. There's so many things I think that people tell themselves, and then still, I saw some insights recently where it looks like the number one thing or the number one consideration when choosing technology is price in South Africa, it blows my mind. It's the last thing you should consider, because price doesn't make that system a good fit for you. Sorry. So I just want to throw that little bit in there to add on to what you said. But then also you think about in South Africa, we've got, I don't know how many FSPs we've got. We've got massive ones and we've got very small ones, and everything in between. Why do they struggle so much to gain efficiency with the technology that they're already using?
Yeah, so I mean that's a very complex issue, and a lot of that also goes towards the process that is in place and things like that. But focusing on the technology side of things, there are so many business silos to run a business in general, but a financial practice, advisory practice, and there are so many tools for each silo of that, niche tools and everything, but getting a single view of your data is an issue, and trusting your data, getting that data integrity. There are inevitably, if you've got multiple business silos, multiple business systems, you've got many sources of information. So combining those sources and combining the information and the data, that's really where the synergy sits. And I think, there's a lot of, regardless of the size and how many business silos or business systems you use for this stuff, you're sitting with an issue and a loss of efficiency because of just pulling all of this data and everything together. And I think, another big factor is time, time related to discipline. You never have enough time to always get to everything that you need to do. So being disciplined and doing sticking to your process and doing what is necessary, I think is absolutely key. You can have the greatest tool, but if you don't give it the information that it needs inside of that tool, you're always going to sit with lack of efficiency. But yeah, lots of different points we can touch on in terms of that, but let's stick to those for now.
Yeah. And another, I think a mistake that people make and advisors make and business owners and franchise principals and whoever is making these decisions to purchase specific software and to implement specific software or to change the systems and things that they're using is that the expectation is that it must just be easy to use. The expectation is when I get my login, I must just be able to use it. But it doesn't work that. No software works that way. Have you ever bought any piece of software except Angry Birds, probably, which is a game where you not need to learn? So there's not just monetary investment that needs to be made. There's blood, sweat, and tear investment, and there's commitment, and there's time, and there's all the stuff that you also need to understand that you're going to invest into adopting the system, because deciding on a system, making sure it's fit for your business. I mean, were you really that wrong when you decided I'm going to implement this system and now 6 months later it's not working for me? Were you that wrong when you made the decision out of all the decisions you could have made? Like, I doubt that. The problem probably lies in the fact that we didn't spend the time we were supposed to spend to get to know the system. We didn't train the people in the way that we should have, and that's it with both the software provider and the FSP as much. I've seen big corporates move from one system to the next, because they can't get people to adopt the system, But anyway, so that's a whole discussion on its own as well. So I'm not going to go down that route, but I also want to add that to the conversation and just make people think about this, plant a little seed, because we need to talk about this. When I'm deciding on, let's just say, on the one hand, I've got no software, I've got no system. On the other hand, I've got a system, okay? And I'm thinking like, oh, do I need to change? What do I need to do? I want to know what in your opinion, what is the most important thing to focus on? What is the gain for me as the FSP? In other words, what efficiencies can I create for me? How much money can this make for me? How is this going to make my life easier? Blah, 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 versus the gains for the client. Like, do I look at it from what is this system going to create in terms of customer experience? What is it going to do for the client? Which approach do you think is key in choosing the right system?
Yeah, so that's sort of like asking what came first, the chicken or the egg. So
I do things like that.
I think there's a big factor of the one can't exist without the other one. So it all depends again on how it's structured at the moment. But if you, from an advisor's perspective, you need to get certain things. There's sort of a minimum viable product, if I can call it like that you need to actually properly take care of your clients. Then there's also this constant drive in terms of change of what your clients actually expect from advice and from an advisor. So there's definitely two parts to it, and I would say it's a trade-off on how your clients segmentation looks, and the type of service you want to offer. But I would say that golden balance would be somewhere in the middle, and if you don't need to choose, that's absolutely ideal, and that's definitely something at AdviceTech that we try to offer, is sort of that balance between, yes, you as advisor get all of the reporting and everything that you need, but at the same time also that your clients actually get involved in the planning process and also get the reporting that they need. So sort of this in the middle, where both can actually gain from the single system you use.
What is the key, or what are some of the keys for FSPs if they want to unlock efficiency through technology? What are some of the things they, that could really go a long way in helping them unlock that efficiency?
Yes, only if there was that big single magic key that just turned on everything. Yeah, but nobody would need anything. That would be terrible. But I think they will definitely. There's definitely a couple of let's call them golden levers that you can sort of pull, and those golden levers, will obviously differ from advisory to advisory, but there's a couple of key ones that will always be the same and everywhere, regardless of the variables and the technology. Well, in the technology is always one of those golden levers. So data is obviously everything in life today, but specifically in the financial advisory space. That's what you base all of your decisions and how things are going and all of that sort of thing on. So choosing a system that can contextualize and integrate your data and your information that you actually gather is absolutely key, as well as a system that can carry your brand and speak to how do you engage with your clients, how do you enhance that client engagement and so forth, as well as making a client part of the planning process is, I believe, absolutely massive golden lever. So choosing a system that can sort of cater to these needs will definitely drive efficiency, and focusing on that single, doing the small things that you there's always going to be some manual input you need to do into a system from a client-based perspective, and maintaining that and so forth, but absolutely maximizing the amount of value you can get from the little pieces of things you do, and not having to redo things. Definitely from a time perspective, a massive golden lever, and call it a key if you want. Yeah.
These days, I don't know, like maybe a QR code, or we can't talk about keys anymore. Awesome. Johan, AdviceTech has been making waves recently. I've run into you guys long before I knew who you were. Started hearing about AdviceTech. And I want to know, what do you offer that sets you apart from other systems that advisors currently use?
I would say, if I had to sum it up in 3 words, I would say it's a single integrated platform. Now, what that actually means is where the value comes out. But it's a single point of truth. It's a single point of maintenance. It's really focusing on capitalizing the admin tasks and admin effort that you have to do, and maximizing the value you can that by cross-checking your information from your AUM and commission imports and reporting that you need in any case, that actually checking your active client base, making sure it is up to date, just all of these different sources of information that's a reality from your different providers and so forth, but actually overlaying that on top of each other and showing you exceptions that you can actually more efficiently and better manage that. And then the 2 other things, advisor-centric design. So as part of our initial build, as well as our ongoing enhancements and so forth, that is built by advisors for advisors, so constant input from the industry. What are these changing things, and building that in, as well as never sacrificing on simplicity, never sacrificing on ease of use, because that's when things, shortcuts are being taken, steps are skipped, and so forth. So that's really a couple of things that AdviceTech really tries to focus on, and the feedback from the industry has been great. So yeah, we're very happy about that.
Always good. And can the system help me with anything to connect with my client apart from sending reports and things like that? Is there something I can give my clients?
Yeah, so obviously with this change in what customers actually expect, there's a lot of different interfaces that we actually have. We've got built-in newsletters. We provide a weekly market note that you can send out branded as your stuff to your client base. A lot of different birthday, anniversary, passport expiry, all of these document reminders, as well as then an integrated client portal. So each client can get a portal. You can activate that portal. It gives them a secure place that they can see all of their documents, and they can see all of their financial portfolio, as well as updates from your AUM and your feeds. See that constant, on a daily basis, even if you've got daily feeds and things like that. They can do their budgets. They can see all of these type of things. So really an interface where they can manage their financial life and manage this interface to you. So really making them part of the planning process as well. And again, great feedback we've been receiving in terms of that, all carrying your brand, of course, because brand is absolutely critical in today's age.
Yes, absolutely. Johan, thank you very much. And thank you to AdviceTech for being a sponsor of the Global Financial Planning Conference. And where can FSPs and advisors learn more about AdviceTech?
So the website is always a great place to start. There's a nice video taking you through everything, lots of features, lots of, what we are about, our value proposition and so forth. And then, of course, making contact with us. All of the information is there on the website, whether it's booking a demo or, just having a couple of discussions. We love to have discussions with all of the different practices, finding out how they do things, finding out what their golden levers are, because that essentially shapes the future of how AdviceTech also grows and enhances that constant, just keeping up with what is required in the marketplace.
Awesome. Johan, thank you very much for your time today. It was intriguing to chat to you. There's a lot of things we can touch on. Like I want to maybe in future chat to you about data. I want to talk to you more about those other things that I threw into the pot. But for now, thank you very much. Really appreciate you being on the show. And as I said, for both Independent Investment Solutions and AdviceTech to being a sponsor of the Global Financial Planning Conference. We appreciate you very much.
Great. Thank you for the platform. It's been a great experience.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Cheers, Johan.
Cheers.
All right. So next week, my guest is none other than Kobus Klein. And Kobus and I are going to talk about some very interesting things he's been up to, so I'm not going to give it away right now, but I'm very excited for this. This is something different again. His first episode, which we did way back in season 1, has the most views almost on this channel. And it's just been absolutely popular with a lot of people, where we spoke about how do you create client advocacy, and definitely something to go check out. I think, don't keep me to it, I think it was episode 29 of Virtual Coffee with Francois. So season 1, episode 29, go have a look at that in the meantime. But Kobus he's been doing some very interesting, thought-provoking and leading stuff. He's an early adopter, specifically when it comes to technology. So he's going to share what he's lately been up to. So really excited for that. So that means we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember to raise the bar. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Remember to check out the live show, Propulsion Live, on YouTube every Friday at 7 a.m. South African time. You can find it at www.propulsion.co.za/live. That's propulsion.co.za/live. And please remember to subscribe, share with your colleagues, your friends, and anyone who may find value like you did in this podcast. Once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.